The night air at the marine park crackles with electricity. It's August 9th, 2025, and the stadium is packed. Thousands sit shoulder to shoulder, faces aglow with neon lights, anticipation buzzing, music pulses, children wave glowing toys, and all eyes fix on the vast, dark pool. A spotlight lands on a trainer in a black and white wetsuit who raises a hand to the crowd. Suddenly, the water erupts. Neptune, the Orca, launches skyward, a living monolith silhouetted against the night. The crowd gasps, then shrieks as a wall of water drenches the first rows. Neptune glides to his trainer, seeming to nod playfully. The performance is a ballet of power and grace waves, splashes and trainer-propelled rides. To the audience, it's a magical bond, human and animal in perfect harmony. But this is a carefully manufactured illusion. The show dazzles with flips and synchronized swims, each met with thunderous applause. Yet beneath the shimmering surface, the truth of Neptune's existence remains hidden. Neptune's performance is a masterpiece of deception. His smile is just the shape of his jaw, not a sign of happiness. Trainers reward him with fish, reinforcing the image of a willing participant. But the orcas perform for food, not joy. Every leap and wave is a routine, not a spontaneous act. The relationship is not friendship, it's a business transaction. The pool is a sterile tank, not the ocean. Orcas have no choice in their daily lives. Every aspect is controlled. The illusion of harmony is fiercely protected, masking the reality of monotony and frustration. Trainers interpret behaviors as playful, but often they're signs of agitation. Even trainers are caught in the fantasy, building connections on a foundation of captivity. The orca's apparent joy is a carefully constructed lie. When the stadium empties, the illusion shatters. The orca's world shrinks to concrete tanks, prisons for animals built to roam 100 miles a day. In the wild, orcas explore a rich, three-dimensional world. In captivity, it's a chemically treated, acoustically dead box. The tricks that delight crowds are circus acts, taught through food deprivation and strict routines. Compliance equals food, not partnership. Captive orcas are deprived of natural social bonds. Family groups are shattered, and strangers are forced together. Separation from others is traumatic, with lasting psychological scars. The tank's environment is harsh. Chlorinated water irritates skin and eyes, and the featureless walls offer no stimulation. In the wild, orcas hunt, play, and interact with their environment. In tanks, there's nothing to do. Chronic boredom leads to zoochosis, repetitive, neurotic behaviors. The tank is not a home, it's a cell. The joyful show is a stage play, where the actors have no say. Captivity strips orcas of their culture, family, and freedom. The cost is profound deprivation, both physical and psychological. The suffering of captive orcas is written on their bodies. Collapsed dorsal fins, seen in nearly all captive males, are rare in the wild and signal poor health. The cause, dehydration, gravity, and endless circling in small tanks. Their teeth are shattered from gnawing on concrete and metal out of stress and boredom. Painful dental procedures follow, often without anesthesia. Chlorinated water causes chronic skin and eye problems. Orcas float listlessly at the surface, exposed to sunburn and UV damage. Their immune systems weaken, making them prone to disease and infection. Many die prematurely from illnesses rare in the wild. These visible scars are symptoms of a life defined by confinement and deprivation. Neptune was born in the wild, in the cold waters off Iceland, part of a close-knit pod. His early life was filled with family, freedom, and the thrill of the hunt. That ended abruptly. Boats, nets, and chaos tore him from his family. As a calf, he was hoisted from the sea, never to see his pod again. The trauma was permanent. Neptune became a commodity. Transported to a marine park, he faced a sterile, lonely world of concrete and chemicals. Grieving and confused, he refused food, floating motionless in depression. Hunger and isolation forced him to cooperate, learning tricks for food and attention. Renamed Neptune, he became a star performer, marketed as a happy ambassador. The park's story erased the violence of his capture. To audiences, he symbolized ocean magic. To Neptune, every show was a reminder of what he'd lost. His spirit, once wild, was broken by captivity. Maris Ellington, Neptune's trainer, believed in their bond. She spent hours with him, learning his moods and celebrating his successes. But over time, she saw cracks. Neptune grew frustrated, sometimes refusing to perform or lashing out at other orcas. Maris reported her concerns, but management dismissed them. Neptune was an asset, not an individual. She was told to get him back on script, to maintain control. The pressure to perform was relentless, undermining any real connection. The tragedy struck during a packed show. Neptune, agitated, ignored cues and pulled Maris underwater. He held her at the bottom, dragging her through the pool as the crowd watched in horror. By some miracle, he released her. She survived, but her illusions were shattered. It wasn't malice, but desperation from a broken animal. The betrayal was not Neptune's, but the system's. Maris realized the bond she cherished was built on captivity and control. The incident exposed the cost of forcing wild animals into unnatural roles. Both trainer and orca were victims of the same system. The show's magic was a dangerous illusion. The tragedy was inevitable in a world built on exploitation. Neptune and Maris's story was not unique. At another park, Tekoa, a captive-born orca, faced a similar fate. Born in a tank, separated from his mother at 3, Tekoa was moved for breeding, traumatizing both whales. His trainer, Claudia, saw him become withdrawn and aggressive, chewing concrete in distress. Management ignored her concerns, focused on breeding profits. Forced into unnatural social groups, Tekoa suffered violent confrontations, his body marked by scars. During a training session, Tekoa pulled Claudia into the water. Another desperate act, not predation. Claudia survived, but the park blamed her, covering up the truth. Captivity warps orcas' minds, pushing them to the breaking point. Whether wild-caught or captive-born, the result is the same: tragedy. The cycle of confinement and suffering continues. For decades, marine parks hid these stories behind PR, but the tide turned with the documentary Blackfish, exposing the reality of orca captivity. Public outcry followed. Attendance at parks plummeted. Some parks pledged to end breeding and phased out circus-style shows. But the orcas remain in concrete tanks, deprived of true freedom. Real education and conservation can't happen in captivity. The lesson isn't about orcas' nature, but about domination and control. True conservation means protecting wild habitats, not imprisoning animals. The only humane solution is seaside sanctuaries, protected coastal areas where orcas can live more naturally. They'd still be cared for, but no longer forced to perform. Change is possible if we refuse to support captivity. We must demand an end to breeding and the creation of sanctuaries. The time has come to empty the tanks and give orcas the freedom they deserve.